remember exactly when I wrote my first story. I do remember writing a poem. Maybe I was about 10 years old and showing it to my mother, and she was convinced that I'd copied it out of a book. And so I thought, well, it might be, this actually might be good. I was a huge reader, and then at about 13 I decided that yes, I would like to write books. Half-Blood Blues was written to music, listening to a lot of terrific jazz. So Louis Armstrong, Sidney Bechet, and all of these wonderful musicians from that era. I'm not at all a musician. When you're a child, you take the obligatory, piano lessons. Your parents force you to do this. And I also did, I took guitar lessons as a teenager, and I took cello lessons, I guess, a few years ago, just because I love the sound of the cello. But I'm really abysmal, and I've learned that I'm just not a musical person. Probably every book that you write, as soon as you get to the end, you think, oh, this is wonderful. But then, you wake up the next day after putting it aside and you think, oh my God, this is just the worst. I didn't feel like I had something terrifically, special, and you're not really thinking that. You're just glad to be done. You're glad that you got to the end of the draft. When I was just starting to write my first novel, I discovered Tolstoy for the first time. I always wanted to read War and Peace, but it just kind of sat on my shelf. And finally I read it and was just utterly blown away by how he could create these characters that were so perfectly realized and wonderfully described. He's tremendous, obviously. I actually have never been on Twitter. I think it's an interesting idea, these little sound bites. I think I'm just not very hip. We don't have cable even, and just completely, old-fashioned. I'm 33 going on 84.